Let's study about the specific heat and the heat capacity. So I have written some list of specific heat of some metals and some sort of other things which is needed to understand specific heat and heat capacity in this chapter. So this is the sequential classes of the previous playlist of effect of heat in matter, and I have definitely discussed about the linear expansions, volume expansions, then the real and apparent expansions, and now this class is about specific heat and heat capacity. So what about heat capacity? The amount of heat that is required to increase 1 Kelvin temperature of any material. That doesn't mean that there is no specific mass of anything. So it can be anything like 5 kilogram of aluminium, 10 kilogram of silver, and whatever. So in case of heat capacity, that is expressed as C. So we can say that if we want to increase del theta amount of heat and Q amount of heat is required. I mean, del theta is the temperature. So we want to increase this temperature into 1 Kelvin of any material, but the Q amount of heat is required. Then we can say the heat capacity is C is equal Q by del theta or Q by del T. So Q is the amount of heat. So the amount of heat that is required to increase 1 Kelvin temperature of anybody, of any material or any substance or any matter, that is the heat capacity of that substance or of that matter. So we can say the unit of C is, the unit of heat is joule, and this is the temperature. So the unit of temperature is Kelvin. So we can say that the unit of heat capacity is joule per Kelvin. So if we say that heat capacity of anything is 500 joule per Kelvin, what does it mean? It means that to raise temperature or to increase the temperature of that body at 1 Kelvin, then 500 joule heat is required. So simply we can say the amount of heat that is required to increase 1 Kelvin temperature of any material, that is the heat capacity of that material. But in case of specific heat, we need to think. And in case of specific heat, when it is specific, then you must know one thing, that here mass is 1 kilogram. So if any matter is 1 kilogram, and then to increase the temperature of that 1 kilogram mass substance to 1 Kelvin, the amount of heat is required, that is specific heat. So here we can say that S is expressed as specific heat, that is actually Q by del theta was previously the heat capacity, but here one thing will add it, that is the mass of that substance, and that should be 1 kilogram. So if I say that M is 1 kilogram and the del theta is 1 Kelvin, so this theta is the joule. So this is the heat. So the amount of heat is joule. So you can say to increase 1 Kelvin temperature of 1 kilogram of any matter, that is the required amount of heat is the specific heat of that matter. So we can say the unit of S, this is joule per kg per Kelvin. So we can say this is joule per kg per Kelvin is the unit of specific heat. And this is some list. And among this list we can see simply that the water is the highest amount of specific heat. So what are these? What this data tells about? If I say that the aluminium, the specific heat of aluminium is 900 kilojoule per kilogram per Kelvin, This is very important. Joule per kilogram per Kelvin. What does it mean? It means to increase 1 Kelvin temperature of 1 kilogram aluminium, it requires 900 joule. So it means that in case of water, the specific heat is 4200 joule per kg per Kelvin. It means that 4200 joule amount of heat is required to increase 1 Kelvin temperature of 1 kg water or 1 liter of water. So that is why it's so high. So in case of tin, it's 210. So usually in case of metal heat sensitivity is so high, that is why the specific heat is comparatively less. You see, in case of mercury, it's so heat sensitive, so it's 140. That means only 140 joule is required to increase 1 Kelvin temperature of 1 kilogram mercury. So if there is 1 kilogram tin, so 210 joule is required. Copper 400. This is very important to remember, because students, you know that when there are some questions about solving some sort of problems in case of temperature, then this amount of data, if you know, that is better, so we can imply it on your questions. So copper 400, silver 230, iron 460. So what is the meaning of iron specific heat is 460 joule per kilogram per Kelvin? Is that to increase 1 Kelvin temperature of 1 kilogram iron, it requires 460 joule heat. So lead is 230, ice, you see, the half of water, so it's important. So 2100 is half of water. So human body is 3470 joule per kg per Kelvin. Water 4200, mercury 140, glycerin 2350, important. Benzene 1700, and most importantly water vapor is less just than ice, is 2000, and oxygen 910, air is 1050 joule per kg per Kelvin. So this is a sort of a enlistment. Now you think about what is the relation in between these. So in this relationship we can say that C equal Q by del theta. So what can we get from the relationship is that we said previously that C equal Q by del theta, and now we are saying that S equal Q by M del theta. So if I divide C by S, we will get M. Simply, so if I say that C is equal M times S, it means that simply we can say that heat capacity is actually the mass of material times specific heat of that matter. So, or we can say that specific heat is equal heat capacity divided by mass. So C equal ms is the relationship between the heat capacity and the specific heat. So simply say that in case of heat capacity, mass is not countable, but specific heat, it has specific value as because the mass is specific. So 1 kilogram of water, it requires 4200 joule amount of heat to increase its temperature to 1 Kelvin. That is why water is used to make in engine when it's getting heated. So when the car's engines getting heated, then water is poured into that to make it cool, because water requires much amount of heat to increase the temperature and also decrease the temperature. So this is about the use of heat capacity or the specific heat of some materials. So I hope you will understand or you can remember the specific heat of these materials, and that will be implicable in case if your mathematical problem solutions. So I hope you understand a very simple thing about heat capacity and specific heat. So I hope you can implement it on your problem solving technique, and I'm coming with the next video regarding the specific heat and heat capacity. So see you, take care, stay well.